another team that needs to start recalibrating is the Texas Rangers. Thankfully, they got on the right track today. But CY tried to couch a couple things within the last week, basically saying if things don't change, guys' jobs are on the line here. We saw that with Jake Berger earlier in the week. We now have it with Tavares, and obviously the offensive coordinator changed this week. Sean, what do you make of the dynamics that are going on with the Rangers right now?
I like that the president is saying, you know what, this isn't good enough. And I know that a lot of people say, well, you can't really judge how good or a bad or season is going until, you hit Memorial Day. But this offensive malaise, which we've pretty much had the whole season, is ruining what I think has been the best starting rotation maybe this team has ever had to start a year. And I like that CY is being very aggressive, trying to capitalize on this window when Bruce Bochy is his manager. And to demote Jake Berger, I think that's the right thing to do. Now, you can do that with a guy like Berger because he has options. And a guy like Blaine Krim, this is the perfect circumstance for him to come up and actually be a big leaguer because, honestly, a 19th round pick who had a $5,000 signing bonus is probably just going to be an org guy his whole career. So that's pretty cool. Hopefully he can bring something. And for them to not stop there and rid Donnie Ecker of his job, I thought that was very interesting because in the 28 years Bruce Bochy's been a manager, an assistant has never lost his job midstream. So they mean business. Now, what Donnie Ecker was doing for the offense, I'm not totally sure. He was the offensive coordinator. He wasn't calling plays. I know he was trying to get them ready to attack all these pitchers. Clearly that wasn't working. Now, who's going to step into that role? I have no idea. I've texted around to some people that might be in the know. They're also in the dark, so we'll just wait and see there. And as far as Leody Taveras, he did some great things. I'll never forget the home run he hit in game 1 of the ALCS against the Astros. But, it feels like Evan Carter's playing more like Evan Carter these days at AAA.
Yes.
So we could see him back in the outfield pretty soon.
Yeah, they could use some sort of influx of life right now. To your point about what an offensive coordinator does, you look at the Rangers coaching staff and it's just name after name after name after name. It's like, how many guys do you really need on a single staff, especially within that realm? Like you've got a hitting coach, you've got an offensive coordinator, you've got an assistant hitting coach. As we were talking about in the commercial break, all these guys have their own hitting coaches too. I mean, how many voices do you need? Maybe that's part of the problem. Maybe you need to strip out some of these voices and just let these guys go out there and play because as Bochy has talked about multiple times during this malaise, as you called it, and it's the perfect word for it because it's gone on way too long at this point. This is a lineup. These are guys that are talented enough that it should eventually just click. There's too many guys that are good for it to be this bad for this long.
Yeah, they're just not playing up to their reputation or their paper. And what it's going to have to be is an internal fix. And a lot of it is just the chase rate. And I know that not everybody thinks about stuff like that, but they have the second highest chase rate in baseball at 31% behind the Padres. And they have the second worst on-base percentage in baseball. And they've drawn the second fewest walks. And I know that walks aren't always fun, but walks are so important. It puts so much pressure on the opposition. The manager has to think, the pitcher has to labor as pitch count goes up. And if you just have more chances with runners on base, you put the ball in play, more runs are going to score. And they just haven't been getting on base. And they haven't been striking out a ton. Now, a lot of it is bad luck. I know that BABIP is something that baseball nerds think about. It's batting averages on balls in play, and the Rangers have the second worst. And if it eventually levels out, maybe they'll have some more luck scoring runs. But the slug has been gone, too, which is so surprising. I think Josh Smith has their last 2 extra base hits. One was a triple today. The other one was a home run, a meaningless home run a few nights ago. So they got to start hitting some dingers.
13-1 loss,
getting Corey Seager back is going to help, but guys like Adolis, guys like Jock Peterson, and pretty much everybody throughout the lineup that has a home run threat has to start driving the ball more.
Absolutely. It is time.